talent is one thing, hard work is another thing. Like work is another thing, and hard work is even stronger for build a career. So I think I am this kind of hard work guy. I work like all the time. I never rest. I never dreamed of playing in these festivals. I was just a fan and like a guy that used to go to these festivals as a regular customer client, and to be at the stages is really nice.
On today's episode, Brazil's electronic music pioneer and a DJ superstar, Thiago Mansur. Thiago?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me here.
Tell me, how did you get into music in the first place?
Yes, it's like a long time ago. When I was a kid, my family used to go to the Baptist church, and I used to go with them, and I learned to play the instruments there. So I used to play for the band of the church, like the gospel band. It's like the Sundays kids school, like a church school. I don't know the name.
Yeah, Sunday school.
Yeah, Sunday school for kids. And sometimes the guy that used to play in the Sunday service.
Yes.
And the main band, like the big one, the official one. And sometimes he had any kind of problem, he couldn't go, and I started like replacing him, playing for with 10-year-old, playing for the whole church.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And
no pressure, right?
Yeah. But, I was so young that I didn't care about making mistakes and everything. And of course, I think I did some mistakes, because imagine a kid playing for a lot of adults. But I was quite good or quite effort kid. Is that right to say that? Yeah.
You were good kind of at you were what you were doing.
Or I had a lot of effort. I made a lot of effort to learn and to make the thing happen. And I started playing the drums for the gospel band.
Yes, I was gonna ask you. So which instruments were you playing?
Yeah, I play the drums, the instrument. If I get the instrument, I can play the drums really good. The other instruments I can't play, but I can't make it I can't get the sound out of it using computer programs, musical production computer programs. So basically we can play not the instrument for real,
the physical instrument.
Yeah, but we can use.
You can
VSTs.
Reproduce all the sounds to actually use those sounds.
I'm not telling I'm good at all these instruments, but I can get the sound. Or I hired some other musicians, some experts in that kind of instrument that I want, a guitar for a music that I'm making. So I prefer to get a guy that's a specialist to record it for me, the real instrument, the organic one. But if I want to change something, or when I start the idea before I get the real audio file of the instrument, I can do something similar to where I want to go.
Amazing. So what happened then? So you had this first experience as a kid in the Sunday school. Where did the road take you next? How did you end up actually DJing further down the line?
That was my first music, when my first contact with music was that time. Then my life goes on and everything, and I started modeling. I moved from São Paulo, because I'm Brazilian. I moved from São Paulo to New York to work as a model. And while I was working as a model, I had a big friend who was a DJ, and he played everywhere. He was a really well-known DJ in New York for the scene, and he was a French guy living in New York, so he used to play a lot in Europe and the United States. And then I was working for big brands as a model, and I started doing what I wasn't supposed to do, which were talking about the soundtrack of the website, of the collection, and of the fashion shows. I was supposed to be there as a model, and I started hey, you are making this soundtrack, and the inspiration is the 80s. Why we don't have Beatles, Yellow Submarine or something similar in this soundtrack? And some of the stylists, some of the guys of the brand used to say hey, it's not your area, so relax, cool down,
mind your own business.
Yeah, mind your business. And some other guys said, oh, you have a point, let me check. And then they contact the guy, the producer responsible for the soundtrack, and they get back to me, hey, Thiago, the guy said that's it, his idea, and he's he's looking for the whole a history of the collection, the inspirations and everything is this. And I said, oh no. And I didn't realize like that's an artistic job, like for you, like an artistic work for you to look at an inspiration, like look at the release and what the designer inspired himself to draw that collection. And you put your everything you have to develop a soundtrack for that. And as I wasn't a professional musician, I started, hey, give me the soundtrack, like give me the file, let me try to put to cut, edit, and put the music on it. Like nowadays I know I was being
so is that for the catwalk show, or is that for the after parties?
First for the catwalk shows and for the soundtrack. A lot of times they use the soundtrack of the catwalk on the website later and on the stores, because they created the whole circuit of that history that they built for the collections, the inspirations and all this stuff. So nowadays I understand that's not cool to get another guy work and try to edit it. Now I know, because I was super young and I wasn't a professional musician. Nowadays I know, and I would never do that. Like if someone said, oh, I don't like this soundtrack, I want to hire you to make a soundtrack, I would do from zero by myself. I would never get another track and edit it. I don't think it's professional, but at the time I didn't know that. So I started editing some soundtracks, and some of the time they said, oh, it's super cool. I remember I put once at a big brand fashion show. I'm not gonna tell the name of the brand because it wasn't so cool what I did, but I got the soundtrack and I put Strokes, one of the tracks of Day Strokes that was pumping. It was super big at the time, and the designer said, oh, this changed the whole atmosphere of the fashion show.
Yes, because
everything.
Music is such an integral part to any experience, any sensorial experience. So obviously also a fashion show, music plays a massive role. Yes. So they loved it.
Yeah, they love it, and it changes the mood of the model, how he walks on the catwalk and everything. So they love it, and they said, oh, I'm gonna use your version edited by you. And I said, oh, okay. And then I started getting more confident, because as a big brand, famous American brand, let me do that. So I'm gonna try more, So and a lot of time, this brand in particular, I was hired to do the fitting of the show, which is I am the model size M, so I stay at the headquarters for months. So they draw the collection in your body. First they draw the idea, and then they get the sizes in your body, because this is a medium size. So in my body is the medium, so they can later get the small and the big and everything. And I used to do that, to be the fitting model and the model for the campaign and for the catwalk. I used to do sometimes for some labels this whole work. And this particular brand, I was there for months, so I became friends with the designer, with the stylist, with the whole crew. And that's why I got confident to talking about the soundtrack.
So you kept doing these things for this brand, and also going further for other
some
ones?
Other brands that I had more connection with the people of the brand, because there were some brands that I was hired. I went to a casting, they look at my personal book, and they said, okay, we like you, you're gonna be part of the fashion show. So they hire me. I went there, I tried the clothing, and I went just the day of the fashion show, and I made the fashion show, and that's it. But these brands in particular that I had more connection with people and everything, I tried to, let me listen to the soundtrack. I love it. Can you give me the file? Let me hear. Can I edit and everything? And it started some of the brands let me do that, and then they started inviting me to play at the after party of the shows. So that's where I became a DJ, because I started going to play at the after party. So the fashion show was a huge success, in New York Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week and everything. So do you think you want to play at the fashion show at the after party? The after party of the fashion show, I said yes. And I didn't know how to play, because I wasn't a DJ. I knew some music theory, because I knew how to play instruments. I saw some YouTube tutorials and everything. And this friend DJ friend, it was like big friend of mine. I said, hey, I'm gonna play. You need to teach me. And he said,
wow, how much time did you have to do that?
Yes, like maybe 2-3 days. So what happens the first time I was the star of the fashion show. So when I played, it wasn't that bad. They said they knew I wasn't a professional DJ. I was like the guy playing there because I was at the fashion show. But actually I had a lot of good music taste. So I had like some, as I used to go out to clubs a lot. I love music. I always love it. I had like this feeling of what music I should put, like I should play after another and everything. So
so you had a good sense of your audience.
Yes. And I don't know how you can call it in English, but in Portuguese we say repertório. It's like everything that you listen to and you say, oh, this is good, this is not good, and this can work for this situation. This is like really slow. This is like a lot of energy is going to work for a dance floor and everything. So this like whole thing, I think I had like a good sense.
Yes.
So I started like trying to mix one music to another, because what DJs do is like the endless track. You know, like you mix one to another, like so in a super smoothly way that you don't notice that the music is changing from one to another. So I didn't had this technique like by the time. So I just like turn off a volume and turn on another volume, you know, like for one deck to another. But I tried to do this like in a super like slow way and everything. It wasn't good, I admit, but you
were the star of the show, so
yeah,
nobody told you.
People said, oh yeah, like the model that's on the campaign is like he's playing, it's cool. Yeah. And then I said, hey, a lot of people like is inviting me, because I was the guy playing the like New York Fashion Week after parties and everything. So a lot of people started inviting me to play at the New York clubs, like in the good clubs, like big famous
and
DJs.
That's while you still were, you know, very early on with your kind of DJing skills.
Yes.
Nice.
And then when I was like invited to play to a really nice club at the time, like Pink Elephant, I said I need to accept it when I'm really ready, because I'm gonna play like as a professional DJ. So I said, oh, okay, like in 1 month I can do that. I'm going to Brazil, I come back to New York, so I have this date available like in maybe from one month from now. And then I didn't go to Brazil. I went like to study and to learn how to play. So I went to some classes. I had my friend that teach me a lot. He helped me to get music, because we have like special structure of music we have to get to play in a nightclub. It's the extended versions. It's not the same version you listen nowadays on Spotify, which is really short. There is no intro, no outro. So we have like it's like a bigger track, like to mix into the other tracks and everything. So when I accepted my first gig, I was like ready. I wasn't like good.
So in 1 month's time, you got ready?
Yes, I got ready. I like imagine you riding a bicycle. I was like riding a bicycle. I could like turn left, turn
was
right,
it a
turn
success?
Left. It was really good. Like I love it. I didn't make any mistake. I said like to my friends at the time, bro, you don't imagine. I was like 100% like on time. Yes. And I made all the mixings like perfectly. So. But I wasn't like riding a bike. I was there. I was like a little safe. Sometimes from the middle to the end of the set, I started putting some effects, like feeling confident and everything. But I wasn't like jumping with the bike and making
of course.
some.
You weren't doing the BMX trampolines and
That's
everything.
That's
it. Okay.
And I started playing from this time. I started like getting like a lot of invitations and everything. And that's where I started in the music business.
Professionally.
Yeah.
So there was a no-brainer for you that, okay, this is it. I love doing what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to explore.
Yeah, actually, I never dreamed of being a DJ or being a model. I never did that. Like my father passed away when I was 6 months. So my mother, she has a company in Brazil, a company like an steel industry company that like deal with steel, like iron. I don't know if people are going to understand. Yeah. But she wanted me to work as the industry. It's like a nice industry. It has like a lot of time history. So I tried to work there, but it wasn't for me. I wasn't happy. And
that was very clear to you.
Yeah, very, very clear. She wanted me to study or engineer or like business administration to run the family business. And I said, it's not for me. Before I make the qualify exam for university, I started like working for 1 year in the company of my family. I said, it's not for me. And then when I made the exam, I did for marketing and advertisement. So it was different what my mother and me was like trying to plan before, which were like business or like engineering.
So now you've been a DJ for 15 years now.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Does it feel like the thing that you were born to do?
It's so fun because I love what I do. If I could like go back in time, I would like do exactly the same, like all my achievements and everything that I've been through, all the big festivals that I played. I would love to. Actually, when I started like get more interest about music, like I didn't have any idea of becoming a DJ. I was just like the guy modeling and like loving music. I used to go to Rock in Rio, Lollapalooza, Tomorrowland and everything. And now that I played for all these festivals, like I say, I never dreamed of playing in these festivals. I was just a fan and like a guy that used to go to these festivals as a regular, I don't know, customer, client. And to be at the stages is really nice. Now you ask me if I was like born to do that. I don't know.
Does it feel like music is what you were born to do?
Actually, even today, I don't know if I was born or I got prepared to do that and I was like kind of enjoying the ride and then I prepared even more. You know, I used to say, I think I am a talented guy, but I think I am more like the guy that like do what has to be done, you know, like
gets things done.
Yeah, like
roll up your sleeves and go and do it.
I need to learn that. Okay, I'm going to study. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to take the books. I'm going to watch the tutorials. I'm going to go to a school. I'm going to get a good teacher. I'm going to pay the course and I'm going to get it done. So I am more this than a talented guy. So
you attribute your success more to your work that you've put into your career rather than, say, raw talent.
Yeah, I think. So 100%.
That's such a recurring pattern. Anytime, you know, I read some books and listen to some very interesting interviews, this always seems to be the case, that it's, you know, 90% hard work and then 10% talent.
Okay.
So you're definitely on something.
Yeah, I see in Brazil and all over the world, but a lot in Brazil. That's where I'm from. I have a lot of friends. Some friends, they're really, really talented. They are like you know, like maybe 100 times more talented than me. They are not successful guys. And sometimes I stop and I think, why? Because they don't work. You know, like talent is, I don't know. Talent is one thing. Hard work is another thing. Like work is another thing, and hard work is even like is even stronger for build a career. So I think I am this kind of hard work guy. I work like all the time. I never rest.
Never rest.
Yes.
Is that good though?
Yes, I think it's good to achieve like good results, but I don't think it's good for me like to turn off my brain and to like enjoy life.
Can you do that?
Little time, like very little situations of my life I can. Like as I flight a lot and we are JetLag music, so I try to when I flight, I try not to get like internet on board and everything. I try like to turn off my brain and like read and sleep and like try to produce some music. I try to get like offline, because we are online all the time, like even flighting. When I started my career, like when I was flighting, used to be like the time that I could like enjoy myself, like sometimes even meditate. But nowadays, like you get online like everywhere, even flighting. So but I have this really big difficulty to turn off and like enjoy life.
I could say a lot of things about different kind of mindfulness practices that you should incorporate, but we can talk about that later.
Okay.
So I was going to ask you, what do you think is the thing that helped you succeed in your career most? Was it this hard work ethic or was it something else?
I think it's like hard work and add to strategy, you know, like the first big music that we made was like a collab. We made with Chucky, the DJ from I'm in Miami Beach, like that music. which is a good strategy when you're not well known. You collab with somebody that is like really famous. Then I lived a lot in the US. When I returned to Brazil, I made one of the first electronic music with Portuguese vocals. So like 7 years ago, we made like our big success. It was the #1 track in Brazil, like overall, like competing to Rihanna and Anitta and like Brazilian popular music. Like it was the #1 overall music, the most played in Brazil for 6 months in a row. So it was really big, but it wasn't a strategy. It was a good music, but it was the first time people looked at electronic music with Portuguese vocals and not like Calvin Harris or David Guetta or this kind of stuff, because
so you brought some innovation.
Yes, and it was like a strategy to like to break into the Brazilian market and to make electronic music big there. So we are one of the first DJs that become famous inside Brazil, Brazilians that became famous inside Brazil, together with like now we have like so many other guys there, but we were one of the first, like maybe 2 or 3 guys make this movement. And I think it was hard work add to like a really good strategy, because if I didn't do the Portuguese vocals, I think it would be really harder to get like famous, well-known.
So what was the thought process behind that? So when you say strategy, what exactly did you think of? Did you say, I need to do something that has never been done? Or how did you develop a strategy that would then put you at the top? As
I was playing all over the world, like I was living in New York, so I used to play in Europe and at the festivals and everything. Before we released this big track, I played at Tomorrowland in Belgium, which is the biggest festival, one of the biggest electronic music festivals in the world. We did because we made a music with Chucky, and this music got big, and a lot of people in the electronic music scene worldwide started to pay attention on us. But I think I started like traveling a lot. I used to see like there are some like Spanish vocals on electronic music, some like Turkish vocals on electronic music, like mainly English vocals on electronic music. There's nothing like with Portuguese vocals like big in Brazil. So why not do that? So I thought it would be like a good strategy. So I came back to Brazil. We like searched a lot, like the right vocals, the right like partner to collab to sing with us and everything, and it became huge. Like nowadays we have even like Anitta singing one of our songs in Portuguese, which is the biggest basically artist in Brazil. Yeah, maybe in Latin America now. She got like so big, and she's a really well talented, she's a good friend. But she's when we got to this, like we made like a statement. These guys are specialists in doing like electronic music with Portuguese vocals. So it's... So is there such a thing as a roadmap to making it as a DJ? Yes, you mean like a formula of the success? Yeah, or something similar. Of success, yeah. I don't know, like if I would be like the mentor of somebody, I would say like that music is like the way, like the real way. Like a lot of people pay, a lot of people like they have good managers. There are some ways, but I think if you don't have good music, you like a music that is big, like a hit, or not a big hit, but a lot of good music, like telling a story about yourself as an artist, showing your legacy, even if it's a new legacy, and like when you're starting your career. I think like music is the most important thing about a musician being well succeed. I think there are a lot of factors, like image, like style, like being true. You can have your audience like liking how you present yourself, how you put your opinions, what you believe, like how. So building a personal brand. Yeah, building a personal brand, and even like pointing like what you believe about the world, about like delicate issues of the world, a lot of themes. There are some artists that prefer not to talk about this like difficult points, topics, because they have strong opinions and they put themselves all the time for their people, for their audience to know what they think. I think this can be a factor. So imagine like in Brazil, we have some strong woman like empowering this flag. Like I am like a woman and I'm gonna do like this. I think a lot of people, a lot of another women look at that and said, oh, she's like creating a movement. She's like defending something that is important for me. So I'm going to support her. And then it started like knowing more and everything. So I think there is not one only formula, but a lot of like mixed points, because if we knew a formula,
we would all be doing that.
Yeah, we would be selling it, like the formula.
Of course.
I'm going to sell you, you're going to be well succeeded. So I'm going to ask you a lot of money for this product. But I think mainly is music. Like if I could point like just one is like good music, and music that shows your essence. Like it's not let me
so not copying other people, but bringing something from yourself.
Yeah, and actually you can even like not copy but inspire yourself. I do this a lot. Like I inspire myself mainly like a lot of people that I used to listen when I was a child, like Man at Work, Jamiroquai, and all these guys. Of course I don't copy them, but I inspire a lot. This is who I am. They helped me to build my musician like history inside myself. So I think but I would point music like as a main.
What is the most challenging part of your job?
The most challenging is that always looking for the next success. So when you release a track, it is already ready and you release this track. So you put everything, you put your energy, you put your trust, you put your talent, you put everything on this track. When you release it, you have like to promote it, of course, you have to play it, you have to make this work reach the most people you can, but you started thinking about the next one. So like this extremely fast content developing about like content of developers and in general, it's one of the things that is like super hard, because you have all the time to think about the next and the next and the next. So sometimes we don't even enjoy what you are like. You just released this track. It's super nice, but in less than 1 month, you have another track to release and another job like to do. So the big secret is not to let it become like a rundown thing that you don't even like enjoy doing that anymore, So
almost letting yourself celebrate your wins and then looking forward. So allowing yourself a little bit of time to actually acknowledge what you've done and enjoy the product of your creation, and then kind of move on to the next thing.
Yes. Thank God we're like in the moment of our career that like we don't need a hit like urgently to keep like working and make a lot of concerts all over the world. So we can like cool down and say, let's enjoy this. Like I'm not gonna like release like crazily stuff all the time just like to deliver what the label wants. Like I want 10, 12, 15 tracks a year. Let's sign a contract. I need this money. So I don't judge who needs to do that. And we did like in the past, but nowadays like we are really like trying to cool down this kind of like of reality that is taking like is putting a lot of artists like in this like endless
frenzy.
Yeah. And that's like I think it's not a good thing. So we are like releasing when we think that the things are ready. We have like another kind of contract with the label, so we can like this year we can release 10 tracks, the other year we can release 20 if we have, and the other year we can release like 8 or 6.
So you have some freedom of choice.
Yes.
In fact, I think it's very almost clashing and counterintuitive to have to force creatives to be very rigid and keep churning out.
Yes.
How can you really do that? If you're supposed to be creating something that's coming from your heart and something that's unique and special, you can't keep producing it as if it was a conveyor belt in a factory.
Yes.
So that's quite interesting to me.
Yes, like to be creative is not something that you like push a button in your brain and said, now I'm going to be creative and I'm going to deliver like a super creative music, or like it's not like that. You have like to be inspired. You have like to be in some moments of your life that you're going to take advantage of that particular moment. And even sadness, a lot of people make beautiful tracks, like Adele. She made like her best like works after heartbreaks and everything. So people are different, artists,
which is actually
different.
Such a beautiful thing, because you turn something that is so sad and so painful, but you turn and you transmute that pain into something beautiful that then, you know, touches millions and millions of people's hearts. I think that's the beauty of what musicians can do. I often think about different industries and different fields, and I think about what we as a general public don't know and don't see. So is there a dark side to the DJing world and profession? What do we not know? What do we not see?
You know, like as any other professions, like there are like some people that don't play by the moral rules that we expect of any other human being. But I think this is like in any other area, not just DJs. I think like a lot of DJs, they have like not everybody, but a lot, they have like problems with drugs and alcohol and everything, because that's like the most of the ambient that you are, like clubs and nightlife and everything. So if you are not strong to say no to this kind of things, you can be caught by this. I think this is one of the I you know, you see Avicii, he died. He was like one of the biggest talents that we have. Actually, I don't really know if it was a drug problem about him, but he was like for sure hurt inside. He had like some, I don't know, some emotional problems. So I think like touring life, when you travel a lot, you get away from your family and everything, that's what hurts me the most. And I'm an athlete, so I thank God I don't have this alcohol and drug problem, never had, but I miss a lot my, you know, my routine. Like I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. I am like a black belt. I practice since I was like a little kid. I was a competitor, so I miss that, like to go to the gym, to fight with my friends, with the guys that got all the belts, since the white belt to the black belt with me. So I miss like my family, my house, like my bathroom, my routine. But I travel with a lot of people, like my staff guys, they are family to me, so it makes a little bit easier, not easier, but less difficult maybe. And I think that's it. But I have a lot of soccer players that for example, that live here in London. I know like behind the scenes conversation that some of them have problems like this with alcohol, maybe with drugs, and like some of them missing home. So I don't think it's like a particular problem for DJs. This all these problems that I pointed, you could apply for any other profession. But I think like nightlife and things that comes with
it brings with it. Yeah. Well, this was another thing I was going to ask you, which is how much do you tour? How many weekends a year are you actually away?
Weekends, I think every single weekend of the year. Yes.
What?
Yeah, Brazil is a continental country, so we tour a lot inside Brazil. So we make like maybe 15 shows a month in average, mostly of them inside Brazil. But we make like months, like this month we're making like 9 shows, but we're making like 9, not 15, because we are touring Europe.
Yeah.
So we can't do like in Brazil, maybe in a Saturday we make like 3 shows in the same day, in the same Saturday, in 3 different states. And you know, Brazil, you can fly it from 6 hours and you're still inside Brazil. So it's a continental huge country. So
in my country, in Latvia, you will go across the whole country in a car in 4 hours.
In Brazil, it's like super, maybe 6 hours and a half if you're going from state like extreme south to extreme north. It's more than 6 hour flighting. So we tour like every single weekend, but most of the weekends I can like make a show and sleep in my own bed, because I can like we can like flight private, and we can like finish the show, get inside the plane and go back to São Paulo where I live. And I come home like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., but I can sleep in my own bed. That's like, for me, that's the biggest, that's paradise. It's not like every show I can do that. Like there are lots of other shows that I need to sleep in the city and wake up and go back, because we have like pilots window of rest. So they need some minimum resting time. So
how do you manage your fitness routine? You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so do you still practice?
Yes, like just for fun now, like as a hobby, but I still do like 3 times a week I go.
But you always work out. You're a
like, yeah,
very much fitness enthusiast.
Yeah, weight training. I always like, it's like 4 or 5 times a week when I can.
How do you manage that? How do you manage this intense schedule and your workouts? And what is your relationship with sleep?
Yes, like what happens is in Brazil, when I'm like my routine includes 15 shows a week, a month, 2-3 shows a week in Brazil. But mostly of these shows are like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I have like a regular life from Sunday to Thursday. So these days I can go to the gym as a regular people, like as everybody can, like that doesn't like tour a lot, can go. In a lot of cities that we go, we have like good hotels with gyms, or like nearby gyms. My staff look for me.
So you make it a priority no matter what, that you actually squeeze in those workouts.
Sometimes if I have 2-3 shows in the same day, I can't work out because there's no available time. So I try to run like maybe 45 minutes. But if I don't work out Saturday and Sunday, because Sunday I'm destroyed, I'm just like trying to sleep and rest the whole weekend that I worked a lot. But from Monday to Thursday, I can work out like 4 or 5 times.
And what about your sleep? Given that your band name is called JetLag, how's that?
It's like it's super interesting that I sleep really good. Like I sleep like 7 to 8 hours a day, and I don't take pills to sleep and everything, because I don't drink that much alcohol. I drink like 1-2 glasses of wine, like when I have like a special occasion, like dinner with friends and everything. But I don't drink vodka, whiskey, champagne, beer, nothing. So I have like a healthy lifestyle, so I can sleep. The thing is, during weekends, because of our logistics, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I have like 4 hours to sleep, 5 hours to sleep, 3 hours. So I try to sleep in the planes and everything. But like from like Sunday to Thursday, I sleep like average of 7-8 hours.
That is very good. I would not have expected this answer, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially given your name.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years now with JetLag, right?
Yeah, JetLag just made 10-year anniversary in last April.
So one thing I always wonder about as well, in a profession where you're required to travel so much, what happens to relationships? Also, congratulations. You're currently about to have a baby with your long-term partner.
Yes.
Congrats. And you guys have been together for how long?
We are together for 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
That is amazing.
That's good.
So how, in such a dynamic profession, you're traveling so much, how do you manage to maintain a great relationship?
Yeah, I think like we have to be honest with each other. Like we have to trust each other, because imagine I'm touring all over the world. Sometimes, a lot of times she's together. She can like go with me, which is super nice. So can we enjoy and new places together. But when she's not, we have to be honest. She has to trust me, I have to trust her, otherwise there is no relationship. The thing is, I support her career a lot. Like I'm a big fan. Everything I can do to help her, and she does the same. Like whatever she can do to help me, to support me, to make me get bigger, stronger in my profession, she does. She always did. And I think like we are gonna be parents now in 1 month, but before that we were just both of us. So like imagine a life that you lock the door of her apartment and go away from 1 month in Europe, like touring. She could go with me. And she did it like for a lot of time. So of course, love, admiration, and respect, there are some like aspects that are super important, but trust, I think, is one of the most important. That what did our relationship come to like this long, and like the plans that we do of growing a family and everything.
I can only imagine that such a support is paramount to actually being able to achieve high levels of success in your profession, in any profession. Like the presence of a loving and supporting partner makes a difference.
Yes. I think like you have a motivation of going back, you know, like I'm doing this thing and everything, I'm traveling, I'm touring.
But then there's somebody at home that is waiting. Yeah,
or not somebody at home. Maybe sometimes she can be with me, but we both want to be home, back home. Like we have our home. We have like a place we built, we put a lot of like energy, love, like inspiration, our plans of future. that's home. And even if I'm alone, I want to go back home because she's there. If she's with me, we both want to be back home because it's what we built together.
Yeah, that has no comparison.
Yes.
To something like that. Thiago, do you feel like you know what your purpose is in life?
You know, I'm not the kind of guy that think about it. Like I'm prepared like to give like a super like maybe boring and expected like answer that is I try to be a better human being and this and that and everything. I don't have like a deep answer to this question, but what I think is I've been like becoming older and more mature. I started liking myself more, you know. So when I look back, some attitudes that I had like with myself, with my family, with like work, sometimes I said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm not proud of having doing that specifically thing and everything. I don't have any big regrets. Even these things that I'm not proud, I understand that was what made me grow as a human being, a professional, as a man and everything. But I'm not that kind of like deep person that like try to figure out what's the meaning of humanity and everything. I try to enjoy, you know, I try to enjoy, I try to be nice, I try to make friends, to be nice to my friends. And I think like my vision, one of my big visions or one of big thinkings that, or things that I most believe is that I try to be really, really nice with people, to really respect people. It doesn't matter like color, religion, beliefs, and that I don't care. I try to respect. I think everybody needs to be respected. You have to respect. You don't have to agree. You don't have to nothing more, but you have to respect. And I respect everybody. And I really want to be respected. If people don't respect me, I try like to leave. I try not to be like a rude person back, like to answer back with like rudeness or any kind of thing. If I have to, there's no other like option. I will not respect back. It's not respect, just return like to as a payback. But I'm gonna like put myself and say, you're not respecting me, so of course I'm not gonna respect you, and it's not gonna work. But I think I try to be a nice human being. I try to enjoy the ride, and I try to respect everybody. That's I think is a nice.
You've pretty much summed up the next question, which was going to be, can you share 3 very important life lessons that you've picked up over the years?
Yes, I think that's it. Like to enjoy life like the most, because we never know tomorrow. And it's like really, really, really true, because I lost some people like in the journey, like some friends. Of course, I'm young. So I didn't lost a lot of people in my life yet, which is like which is good because I'm young. But I have to learn, because every single one of us are gonna lose, or we're gonna go first and someone is gonna lose us. And if you think when you go first, you lose. you lose too, because you lose not being here with the people you love. And like this kind of thinking sometimes is a little bit like obvious. Like, what do you think? Oh, enjoy life. Like everybody, a lot of people answer that. But since before pandemic, I never like stopped and think about this, like with myself, like being honest and just like meditating and thinking with myself and like turning my brain off and like trying to answer questions just for me, like being myself to me, and like don't care about any other person opinion, because I was trying to talk to myself. I thought about this, like enjoy life. Imagine like we had 2 years of our lives like that were stolen because of this virus.
That's the right word, stolen. I always say that as well. It feels that way.
Yeah. And imagine like when I am like 80, 90, 70, I don't know how many time I'm gonna live, and I think, do you want 2 more years that you lost when you were like young and in like the best time moment of your career? That's why I say let's try to really enjoy. Like I see people that are like really bored or really like hurt inside. You see people walking on the street, and every like single thing that happens, people start yelling and being pissed off other people, I try not to do that. I try to enjoy, I try to be nice, I try to smile, I try to make friends. So that's one tip. The other tip is you can only demand respect if you respect people. You can't
give before taking.
Yeah, you can't like demand like any people like to do something to you if you don't do first, as an example and as expected. So respect people, I think, is like one of the main points, because if people learn since like little how to respect other people, I think we would live in another world. Like imagine like conflicts in the like Palestine, and if people like knew how to respect other religions, other life histories, other beliefs, I think would be like a better world. The other thing is try to make really good relations, connections with people you love, because as we don't know like how many time we're gonna be here. If you like create these connections, I think that the amount of time that you have to live, I don't know. Some people believe in God, other people don't believe. I don't know which energy, which like are the beliefs of everybody, but even destiny. But you have your time in life. I don't know, but you're gonna know when the time comes. But there are some people that live like for years and years and they don't enjoy, and there are some people that live so like little, but they enjoy it so much that this little feels like more than like big amount of time. So if you learn how to hack life in this like this kind of like thinking and like with this mindset.
Yes, exactly. And this is what I was going to say. It sounds like you have this very positive mindset and this very positive outlook in life, and you've drawn together a couple of things. So enjoy life, aka be present, be nice to others, so lead by example, and give before you take, so give respect. Those are all things that are so important, and they're so simple, but you know, they're really not that obvious for a lot of people. So when you said, I don't want to sound cliche and I don't want to, you know, say what everyone else says, we just need reminding these things, you know? So it's very, very true what you're saying. Was there a time in your life that it was so challenging that you thought about quitting?
Hi there, I hope you're enjoying this episode. You can listen to the full audio version for free on your favorite podcast app. And if you are enjoying this video version, I invite you to join my exclusive Patreon community to support the making of the show and to unlock a ton of exclusive content, such as the full video episodes, bloopers, some controversial topics, and more personal questions from the guests, and much more. Link is in the description below.